Welcome to Still Surviving and Walking in Your Purpose. I'm your host, Gigi Blackshear. Our guest has an amazing story of what it means to be a true survivor. Please welcome to our show, Miss Cheryl Lawson-Wright. Cheryl, welcome to our show.
Thank you. I'm excited about being here.
Cheryl, please tell our audience, who is Cheryl Lawson-Wright and what is your survival story?
Wow. Okay, Cheryl is a mother of two beautiful sons, and I have a grandson. People that know me, they will think that my story would be about being married for 22 years, and within those 22 years, my husband having an affair with, I can say, I had a saying that would say, I stopped counting with the number 22.
Oh my.
But that's not my story. My story is that through the midst of all of that, I did not know myself. All of us, my husband and I, we were so busy taking care of others, doing for others, that I failed to recognize who I was, who my true identity was. I failed to love myself. And it took the words of my oldest son saying to me, Mommy, I think Daddy and you would have done okay, and we would have done well as a family if you all were not always trying to help someone else.
Oh my.
And that was like a dagger in my chest. So I had to go and pray and think about that. And it wasn't that the part about helping other people. Where I failed was that in the midst of helping everyone else, I failed to help myself. I neglected myself.
Yeah.
When I reflect back on it, I think I was like a Martha. Busy, doing for this person, doing for that person, never saying no, to the point that where I really didn't know who I was. I failed to love myself. I failed to recognize my self-value in the midst of it all.
In the biblical story that you referred to, Martha was busy working and serving and preparing for guests, and her sister Mary was sitting at the feet of Jesus. And Martha complained about her sister just sitting there doing nothing while she was busying herself with working and serving. And Martha was indignant. Why won't you make her come and help me? And Jesus said to her that Mary has chosen that good thing. And he admonished Martha. He said, Martha, Martha, thou art careful about many things. Mary has chosen that good part, and it will not be taken away from her. That spirit of Martha, that busy, got to do it, I got to take care of it, I got to fix it, I got to make it happen. As women, it's easy for us to get caught up in that.
Yes.
And like you said, we do it to such a degree, we give so much of ourselves caring for others that we forget who we are. Yes. We lose ourselves in that process. So talk about how that played out in your life.
Well, it's funny the way God used it all, because one of the things that I did, that he did lead me to do, and let me back up a little. I thought I was being a Mary also because I was in the church busy, working, but it was just busy work because I failed to find that place with Jesus. I failed to sit at his seat,
Mm-hmm.
at his feet. But I did hear his voice at one point, and I paid attention to his voice. In the process of the infidelity with my husband, I discovered a young woman that was pregnant from him. Showed up at her door thinking I was going to pick him up because that's what I received this phone call to get him. But this woman answered the door, and she was 8 months pregnant.
Oh my.
With his twins, just moving forward in the story. And fast forwarding from there, I heard the voice just as plain as day, write her a letter. You need to reach out to her. She's hurting just like you're hurting.
Oh my.
So it was one of the most painful things that I've ever done, was to sit and pen a letter to the woman that was pregnant with twins from my husband, saying that I'm here for you.
It took great grace to be able to do that.
Yes. And now moving forward to how all of it came full force and stopped me and made me recognize that I was missing the mark, was the other journey, my cancer journey. I found myself in a peculiar place alone at this time, separated from my husband, because I was going through that process, recognizing that there needed to be more, there had to be more. So we were separated at that time, and then I discovered that there was cancer. I touched one time, I touched 2 times, I touched the 3rd time, and I heard this soft voice again stating that yes, there's going to be a storm, but I'm going to carry you through it.
Oh my.
So through that journey, ended up without health insurance before I can even have surgery. I was lost, didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do. Of course, my parents were there, and they gave all of the support that they could do. But that young lady that God forced me, because at that point I didn't understand, didn't know why I was doing it, but God forced me to write a letter to befriend. It was that woman, the woman that I was supposed to hate, the woman that was supposed to hate me, that was there for me when I needed someone in my life.
Wow.
Other than my parents, she put thousands of dollars in my home. And I get emotional every time I think about it. Just like, what if
You had taken another
I
route
would have taken another route?
with her.
What if I would have hated
Yeah.
like society wanted me to hate?
Yeah, or dictated
Or-
that,
yes,
that you,
yes.
rightfully so. It would have been
Yes.
justified. It would have been
Mhm,
justified.
Yeah. So that was the beautiful, if you can call anything beautiful in going through a cancer journey.
Yes.
That was the beginning of the beauty through that journey.
So you went from one calamity, one casualty with your husband's infidelity to having to accept the fact that he had fathered twins with this woman after you said many
Yes.
acts of infidelity.
Yes.
From that situation, being separated from your husband, to then finding out that you were ill, that you had cancer in your body.
Yeah.
It is amazing how God orchestrates our lives. That part when you said that you reached out to this woman and you wrote her a letter. We think, what kind of woman could do that? Where does the grace come from to accept that situation and then to be able to reach out to her in that manner? So we know that there had to be something there, something out of the ordinary, because the ordinary thing would have been, like you said, to be filled with hate and anger and rage at this woman, but you took a different path. And because you took a different path, that kind of opened the door for a relationship with someone that was then able to be there for you in a time of need.
Yes.
That is a very amazing story. It doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way.
And it was through that journey, that relationship, that I was able to recognize that I was missing the mark with loving myself. That you know, I was taking care of everyone else and I didn't recognize my worth. I didn't recognize my purpose at that time. And it was that woman that helped me to recognize, because she started, you know, sowing into me, not just the financial part, but she started speaking into my life, you know, letting, you know, Cheryl, you're such a wonderful person. You're such a loving person. And I'm like, me? Loving? I'm wonderful? And it was just something hard about grasping that.
Receiving that.
Receiving that, because I did not see myself that way.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, I was just Cheryl lending a helping hand. I was just Cheryl the worker. I was just Cheryl that always said yes. I was just Cheryl that was always there for everyone.
You know, I can relate to that because my mother was the exact same way. She was a caregiver for everyone. And she gave of herself, she gave of herself, she gave of herself. To very similar to you, she had given out so much of herself that when she got sick, there wasn't anything left to care for herself. And that, at times, that's the role of a caregiver. You give so much that you forget about yourself. So you discovered that you had cancer. How did that affect your life going forward?
And that's the beauty of it. And whenever I say the beauty of it, people don't understand, you know, how can there be beauty in cancer? But I truly believe God didn't force it to happen.
No.
But it happened.
Yeah.
And He used it for my good. Because I truly believe if it had not been for the cancer, I never would have been able to take the time, or never would have been able to have the time to sit and be still.
To sit at
It was
his feet.
during that journey, yes, I was able to truly sit at His feet. I was able to truly hear His voice. I was able to, you know, recognize how much He loved me. I was able to see all of the issues, you know, dealing with my husband, all of the women, all of the encounters, how He was there all the time. And He protected me and our sons through it all. So it was during that journey that I discovered my true identity, which He allowed me to write about that. And in that process, the writing part, I stopped to journal. As a child, I used to write all the time. But in my busyness, I lost that art. I lost that process. So it was through this journey, through this time of being still, being forced to stand still, that I recaptured that. And I really recognized, you know, my purpose, my worth.
It's that scripture again. All things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to His purpose. Not all good things, but all things. He is able to take even those hurtful, painful things and work those things together for our good and bring us out better and stronger for them on the other side. And you say, how can something good come out of something so bad? Because sometimes, and I don't say that God causes these bad things to happen. I believe that for whatever reason, He allows it.
Yes.
Because I believe that He's in control. So if He allowed it, then ultimately it's going to work together for our good. And listening to you and seeing you here and seeing how beautiful you are and how strong and healthy you look, we know that it worked together for your good because you're here to share your story. So there may be others out there that are listening to your story that are dealing with similar circumstances and situations, and they just need to know, they need to see a real life example of what it looks like to have gone through hell and high water, come out on the other side and be better and stronger for it. Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
It's a beautiful
My
story.
pleasure.
We'll be back with more from Cheryl Lawson-Wright in just a moment.
I'm Shavonica M. Howell, EDS MBA. Guess what I love? Teaching. I love it so much that I opened my own private school, Academy of Scholars, Inc., Motivation for Learning. We focus on the whole child, their upbringing, their community, and their household by teaching and sharing doable and realistic goals. Come take a tour. 6620 Arlington Expressway, 32211. Again, I'm Shavonica. Thank you.
Hi, are you looking for quality-based services? Quality-based community services, what does that mean? Benefit support, housing assistance, food assistance, clothing, and a host of other human services that are out there in the community. Well, at Daniel's Quality Care Services, we provide those same quality care services, but we do it differently. We do it with quality. And if you are in need of any of those services, give us a call at 904-619-2153.
We are back with Miss Cheryl Lawson-Wright. Cheryl, you have shared with us a wonderful story of great grace and compassion. Tell us what's next for Cheryl Lawson-Wright.
Is to share that story. And not just share that story. I failed to mention, during that journey, I didn't only discover who I was, I discovered how to properly take care of myself, mind, body, and spirit. I began to eat healthy, organic. I began to use all natural products, even make some of my own products, using essential oils. And I began to rest and enjoy life. The simple things in life, to just go out and explore, to exercise, to walk, to even do dragon boating. That's another story. But to answer your question, I use that to teach others how to truly recognize their true identity, and then to love themselves by taking care of themselves, mind, body, and spirit.
Maya Angelou says, what we learn, we teach.
Yes.
We teach.
So I do toxic-free classes. I do classes helping others transform their house from toxic to toxic-free. I do do-it-yourself classes. We're making personal care products with essential oils and shea butters, the coconut oils. So that's where I am with that. And then I'm also in the process of publishing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Your story is definitely one that needs to be told. I imagine that in writing that story, writing is cathartic, writing is healing. So even in writing that story, it is facilitating that healing process. And that's the other part of that journey, getting to the point where you're sharing that story. Because that's when you know that all of those things that work together for your good, that's when you know that you are in a really good place, when you're able to share that story to help somebody else, to be a blessing to somebody else. Because there are women out there that are dealing with the exact same circumstances and situations, and they need to know how to go through it with that kind of grace, how they can go through it and how they can survive it. So you've given a very good example of how to go through with much grace and much just power and confidence and all of those things that have brought you to the place that you are now. And the fact that you were able to self-care. We have to get back to that place where we begin to take care of ourselves, where we're not looking outside of ourselves for somebody else to come along and take care of us, that we begin to do what we can do to protect our health. And I love hearing about your natural products. Please tell our audience where they can get in touch with you if they want more information about the products or the classes that you offer.
I don't have a website right now, but you can email me at realhope4help@yahoo.com. And you can also reach me at 904-203-9816.
Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful story with our audience. We know that someone is going to be helped just by hearing your story. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And God
Thank
bless
you.
you. We'll be back with Lequita Brooks, licensed clinical social worker, with more resources.
Hi, my name is Shanette Sparks. I'm CEO and founder of First Coast Lupus Fight. It is our goal with First Coast Lupus Fight to transform lupus from a death sentence into an eternal beacon of hope. So for more details, check out our website, www.firstcoastlupusfight.com. Also, follow me on Instagram to know when my new book, Training with a Purpose, will be released.
Are you tired of being sick and tired, stuck in the cycle of the same old, same old? If yes, then it's time for you to embrace your metamorphosis. I am Monique Rogers, the CEO and founder of Metamorphosis Women's Encounter. Check out our website to see what workshops and services we offer for you to create a life you desire and deserve. Thank you.
We are back with licensed clinical social worker Lequita Brooks. Lequita, welcome back to our show. After listening to Cheryl's story, the only word that I could come up with was great grace. Great grace. Are there some resources that you could suggest to someone that might have some of those kinds of challenges? I know.
Gigi. Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about Cheryl's story. One, I would say, as far as resources, there's so many. So I would say go to LequitaBrookslcsw.com. It's LequitaBrookslcsw.com. And there's a free national resource list. Cheryl talked about health concerns. So on there we have information about health insurance, different health departments, also maybe applying for some other benefits through Department of Children and Families, and a host of other resources. So those are just a few things that they can access on that website.
Okay. Part of Cheryl's story was being able to accept her husband's infidelity, and then she went right from that to healthcare issues. So there were a lot of things in there. One of the things that she talked about was that she was so busy and so caught up with all the doing and the being and the giving and the caring of others that she forgot who she was. She lost herself in that process. Do you see much of that in your work?
Yes, and even in my own personal life. You know, I'm a woman. I wear multiple hats. You know, I'm a daughter. I'm the person that when people have problems, they call me because I get it done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a mom. I work. So I wear multiple hats, and I have to, you know, be in tune with my body to say, Lequita, you need a break.
Time to take a break.
Exactly.
It's that spirit of Martha. I call it juggling and tap dancing at the same time, because you get so caught up in doing all of the things that need to be done. And I've gotten it to such a degree that I'm juggling and tap dancing and spinning plates at the same time. But ultimately, when you get to that place where you're doing so much and you're giving so much of yourself, something is going to be sacrificed. Sometimes it's your health, sometimes it's your relationships. It could be any number of things. But as women, you know, we are called to multitask. And I don't know that that's a good thing. You know, sometimes we can do so many things that the major things, the important things, are sometimes sacrificed in doing the many. So we really do have to really take better care of ourselves. Cheryl also talked about learning how to use natural products and the care of herself. And that's wonderful because we know that everything that we need, God put it in the earth. I'm a firm believer that He put everything that we need to care for ourselves, to be healthy, and to eat healthy and to live healthy. He's already provided it for us. We just have to look for those things. So she offered, herself as a resource for people that wanted to get more information about some of those products.
She did. And also the other thing I loved about Cheryl's story is that we all have to be aware of how we treat people. Yes. Never in Cheryl's wildest imagination did she think that the lady who had an affair with her husband would be the one to be there for her. So in life, we just have to really treat everyone with dignity and respect. And if we don't like what they've done to us, we just have to, I don't want to say accept it, but just don't have any anger or be nasty towards them, because we just never know. And she even talked about the benefits of co-parenting. Co-parenting works. Yeah. I think even recently on Father's Day on my Facebook page, I put a post on there of my daughter's father and said, hey, co-parenting does work. Yes, in all relationships, you have your ups and your downs, but it can work, because at the end of the day, it's about the children.
It's about the children. It's about the children. It's about the children. Lequita, thank you so much for sharing those resources with us. We really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you.
I'll be back in just a moment with some final thoughts. It has been said that into each life some rain must fall. When I listened to Cheryl's story, it seemed that there was a lot of rain, but through it all, she was able to maintain, she was able to still be able to move forward and to come out of all of the calamity and the circumstances and the situations of her life, to be able to come out of those circumstances and situations even stronger and better. I believe that inside of each and every one of us, there is a core strength that if we look within and look up, we will be able to not only endure and go through, not only survive, but we will also be able to thrive. Thank you for watching our show.